Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvina Madhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Dayakaran Dayakaram Dantam Dharma-pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya-paramparam. Om Narayanah Paro Vyaktat Andamavyakta Sambhavam Andasyantastvime Lokaha Saptadvipa Chamedini. Twentieth verse. Naprahrishyet priyam prapya no dvijet prapya cha priyam sthira buddhira sammudhaha brahmani sthitaha. We saw yesterday that the person of knowledge does not lose it. In terms of losing it means what? Freaks out. When something desirable happens, there is no freak out. And when something undesirable happens also, there is no freak out. Because the more one freaks out in either situation, the more there is difficulty. Because the knowledge is there that Atma is Sama. Sama means it does not have undulations. It is neither happy by certain circumstances in the surroundings, in the mind, etc., nor is it unhappy by the same. It is itself limitless, whole, and it happens to be the truth of I. So, we no longer say Atma, I am unchanged. This is the vision. I am the changeless whole, unchanged and untouched by external factors that make the body-mind-sense complex happy. So you see, there is a kind of a same order of reality between the external factors and the body-mind-sense complex. External factors means what? Things in the Jagat, right? And so the body is also what? Thing in the Jagat. The Jagat starts with your own body. So therefore, there is a compatibility there. Therefore, the Vishaya Sukha means object-centered happiness. The objects that give happiness, what do they give happiness to? The body, the mind, the senses. And if somebody says that's enough for me, Bhagavan Krishna has a few bad news. Few items of bad news discussed from verses 20 to 24, which we are in the midst of studying. Because the object happiness, giving happiness to what? The body, which is an object, the mind also, which can be objectified. We do this in the meditation. Sense organs also can be objectified. So the object happiness, the object-centered happiness, or the raga-dvesha centered happiness, what responds to that? What responds to that is what? The mind, the body. Body is comfortable and that too is registered by not the body, the mind registers, oh, that's nice, I'm very comfortable, this couch is wonderful. Why is it wonderful? Because it is not ouch with a C silent, yeah, where all the springs have come out. That cannot be called couch. What is couch? Yeah, that which is nice, full of cushions and plush. So, the body sinks into this couch, and what does the mind say? Ha! So, the couch happiness, ice cream happiness, body happiness, mind happiness, senses based happiness, all this is on the same order of reality, which is anatma, which is variously called as vyavaharikam sat, transactional, everyday, empirical, reality based happiness. There is no problem in that, because there is a compatibility, because both belong to the same order of reality. But the Atma is not, and the same order of reality means what? That happiness, as we will learn in the next verse, that happiness is short-lived. Why? Because everything in the Jagat is short-lived. So, the happiness produced, so to speak, not produced really, but the happiness that is in contact with the sense objects and the sense organs, kind of produced, or at least that's what the moodha, the deluded one, thinks. Whereas the objects in the Jagat are incapable of really, quote unquote, producing happiness, they simply are. The mind translates them as producing happiness, because these are circumstances when the Vishaya and the sense organs, Indriyas, come together. When the object and the sense organs come together, there is a sanyoga means there is a contact. And that contact, what happens is that the I, which is free of happiness all the time, that pleased self which is pleased all the time, comes out to play. It's not that the objects inherently produce happiness. If the objects inherently produced happiness, or they were in the world certain objects that are called happy and certain objects that are sad, then I tell you nobody would study Vedanta. What's the use of Vedanta? Nobody would study Vedanta. Why? Because all I have to do is keep getting happy objects, happy people, happy things in my vicinity. That's all I need to do. And then I am forever happy as long as I keep having these things. No, but the things are not forever. Don't worry, I'll get more things. And then when that is expired, I'll get even more things. And so it will be till this body falls away. So there is no such thing as something that is all the time happy in the Jagat, you will not find. Why? Because the objects in themselves do not make a person happy or sad. This is illustrated in the chapter 4 of Panchadashi, Jiva, Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti. So the example that is given is some person, rich man, was walking, and then he dropped a diamond and then walked away, not realizing that he had dropped this precious stone. And now 2 fellows were on either side of the road. Both of them saw the diamond at the same time, but one of them was smarter and quicker than the other. And then what happened? Came to the center of the road, snatched the diamond, brandished it in the other one's face, just for good measure, because then the happiness is more. Because I have it, you don't. Yeah. Shown it in the other one's face and then took it, jumping away. I got the gem, I got the gem, I got the gem. Person number 1. Person number 2, that same gem. There were not 2 gems. How many gems were there? 1 gem. That same gem, one person is very happy gaining that gem and another person is very sad without that gem. Okay? Both of these are what? Shobhana Adhyasa. Both of these are Shobhana Adhyasa. And so therefore, this is the thing that we have to understand. Both of these are giving too much value. The one who is in ecstasy, having gained the gem, is just, is sending an invitation card for robbers, because saying to everybody, I have this precious gem, I got it. And some people is making notes. Some people are making notes. Okay. Where do you live? In this spell of ecstasy, gives out the address. And this is what now the modern days, this is what people do. They will update their Facebook page while on vacation and post the photos of sea, sand, sun, children, grandchildren, everything. And then when they come home, it has been cleaned out. Because somebody is following and tracking, and it's not as hard as you think to find out the address. It's much easier nowadays. And so one person is ecstatic, short-lived ecstasy, but nonetheless ecstatic, and the other person centered on the same gem, that gem becomes a point of dvesha. And the friend tries to console. Doesn't matter, next time you'll get something, don't worry. We will just go to the market and buy a cheap imitation which shines even better than the original. Nobody will know. And then this person is so upset, won't even let the friend console. Shut up, you don't know. And so, centered on this gem, there is great sorrow. Centered on the gem, same gem, there is great happiness. And so the friend gets upset and says, don't ever bring up this gem to me, don't talk about the gem. Understand? Shut up, don't talk about it. I don't want to hear about it, I am not listening. This is how this is what the friend says. I'm fed up with this gem, I don't want this gem. And so, two extreme reactions that one poor gem would produce. Now, Panchadashikara, Svatmavidyananda introduces a third person. Oh, a third person? Who is this third person? Sadhu. Yes. In ancient India, they were roaming around everywhere, and in modern day Rishikesh also. So, there's still some things that haven't changed. And so, this sadhu that is roaming around sees he was there, or she was there, even when the gem was thrown, watched everything. Watched the person snatch it, watched the other person may have a meltdown right then and there, and then just went away. Neither, the gem neither produced longing, nor ecstasy, nor agony in the mind of the one who has self-knowledge. Iti arthaha. This is the purport of this particular part in the early portion of the Panchadashi chapter 4. Very beautiful to see that, because the orientation is that this thing makes me happy. This place makes me happy. The place is inherently not making you happy. No, I have good memories. Yes. So what is making you happy are the memories, not the place. No, but I want to go to the same place and enact those memories. And people do these kinds of things. They have a lot of time on their hands. So I saw this, what is that? One family, or one set of friends, not family, they were friends. And so they had gone on vacation somewhere in France, and they took one photo. Okay, that photo was very nice photo. Everybody was young and sprightly and happy. And then they decided they had such a good time together. They went every year for 30 years and took the same photo, okay, in the same place, in the same time of the day. Yeah. But if you compare the first photo, and the spontaneity in the first photo is not there in the other 29 photos. Yeah, so it's like that. And so, who was it? Some economist talked about the theory of diminishing returns. The first vacation, fantastic. Oh, I want to recreate that first vacation. Let me go to vacation number 2. Little same place I go, same hotel I stay, same people I go with. Diminishing returns. Why? Been there, done that. Everything is been there, done that. And if we analyze the vacation, since that's the example right now, if we analyze vacation, what is a vacation? There should be mountains, okay? And there should be water. Either water or mountains or trees or a combination thereof. That is what is called vacation spot. That's what it is. Not much really. Every place that one desires to go has some combination of this. Nothing else there is. And if you've seen one place, you have seen it all. Really. This is what we have to understand to gain vairagya. If one is serious about this knowledge, this is what to say. One beach you have seen, the other beach also, all the other beaches are as good as seen. As good as seen, as good as known. No, I have not been to the Greek islands. Okay, go to one island. And then one island you go, you dance, you have a good time, you take a lot of pictures of the white buildings and the blue waters. And then what? Next year you want to go to another island. The another island is going to be the same as this island. All the islands in the Mediterranean are going to be the same. You have to see this. And so here, the thing itself cannot produce happiness. That is the purport of this entire verse. Because the same chocolate cake which you love, you will not love when it is presented to you when you have a stomach ache. The cake itself becomes ache personified. So this is how it is. And so the cake itself becomes a sore spot. Or if the cake is presented to you when you are in a bad mood, you've just had a falling out with a very good friend, would you like to have the cake? No, I don't want this cake. Not anymore. Take it away. Sudden vairagya comes. 5-minute vairagya, but it still comes. Yeah, only 5 minutes it will last. Afterwards, when no one is looking, you will eat the cake. But for those 5-10 minutes, you don't want to have to do anything with the cake. And so it is with everything. So, sarve samyogaha viyogantaha. Sureshwaracharya's famous quote in the Vartika of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And so here here we have to see this objectively, that the thing in itself cannot produce happiness. It can produce some comfort, yes, that's all. And if you translate comfort into happiness, that's on you. That's not on the Shastra. You cannot say Shastra doesn't work. That's on you. Comfort is by nature temporary. And the happiness associated with the objects is by nature temporary, because the I which is seeking this happiness is the I that doesn't know its own glory, much less it can revel in it. It doesn't know its own glory. And so therefore it suffers. It suffers constantly, and that's why until Atmajnanam comes, we prepare ourselves by dropping the Shobhana Adhyasa, by dropping a value added, some kind of a subjective spin on all the things, people and situations in one's life. That doesn't mean that you go the other way and say, I'm a Vedantin, I'm not going to enjoy anything because this is what I have to do. No, the enjoyment is fine, but don't get carried away. That is the purport of this verse. The message of this verse is not to not enjoy. Sometimes people come to me and they say, one person said, I have a teenage daughter that I love very much. I said, that's wonderful for her. That's wonderful for you as parents. No, I after attending the course, I'm trying to not love her as much. I said, please don't do that. Yeah, please don't do that. I said, please don't do that. That's a disservice for the child. Please don't do that. And another set of grandparents, they said, when the grandchildren comes, the vairagya goes away when they come to visit during the summer holidays. So I tell them, do not sit on my lap. And the grandchildren are what? 3 and 5. Okay? Yeah, they are not like teenagers trying to sit on the lap. Yeah, they are 3 and 5 years old, and this newly minted Vedantin grandparents told the grandchildren as soon as they entered, no hugs. Sit there. Yeah. And the 3-year-old climbed into the lap because that's what it was used to doing. No, firmly but very clearly put them on the other side. No. And of course the child burst into tears and ran into the arms of the parents. And then the daughter and the son-in-law are very confused. No, I don't. And they said, Mom, Dad, what happened? Why are you behaving like this? Well, I don't want to get too attached to you either. So all of you stay away. This is not the idea. You enjoy, you let go. You enjoy, inside you know that they have their own karmic trajectory, whether it's your children or grandchildren or parents or grandparents, whoever it is. They have their own karmic trajectory. And then you allow them to do that. You allow them to come. You allow them to go. Agate swagatam. When you come, welcome. And when you go, bye-bye, no problem. No problem at all. And so like this, we develop vairagya, objectivity, not by keeping things at a distance, because how many things will you keep at a distance? How many children and puppies and kittens will climb into your lap? How are you going to stop them? And you wherever you look, what is there? Mithya, anatma. And if you make a decision, getting into the Swami Vedanta pose, so Swami Vivekananda pose, without being Swami Vivekananda, let's add, and you say, I am not going to interact with anatma. Good luck. Okay? Best of luck. Why? What is your body? Anatma. What is your mind? Anatma. What is your ahankara that's saying it will not interact with anatma? What is that? Anatma. Good luck. This is not necessary. You enjoy. You enjoy everything, because everything when you Ishwarize the Jagat, that's why that is a very important step in Karma Yoga. You enjoy everything. You touch, you let go, you touch, you let go. And that is the purport of this verse. And before we complete the Bhashya, there is also one more citation that I'd like to give. This is in the Chandogya Upanishad, 8th chapter. Indra is the student, Prajapati is the teacher. And Indra continues to stay and study with Prajapati, the Guru, having dismissed the inner Virochana, the Asura who had come along with him. The Asura is the embodiment of inner child, Raga, Dvesha, Kama, Krodha, etc. And after Virochana goes away, the teaching begins. And then in the 12th section of the 8th chapter, the Prajapati says, what does he say? He says, Ashariram va vasantam na priya priye sprishataha. Ashariragum va vasantam na priya priye sprishataha. Priya priye. Priyam cha apriyam cha. Priya priye. Dual. And so therefore the verb is also what? Dual. Sprishataha. Do not touch. What do not touch? Priya and apriya. Objects of longing, objects of delight and objects of distaste. Neither delight or distaste nor distaste touches that. What is that? Ashariram vavasantam, that which has no body. Very important quote, often quoted by Adi Shankara elsewhere and also in the Brahma Sutra. Very important quote. And very apt here also to bring in here, na prakrishyet priyam prapya, na udvijet prapya cha apriyam. This is not advice for Atma. What is this the advice for? The mind. The ahankara which says this body is mine, this mind is mine, I am as good as this body. For that person who is wanting to develop vairagya, this is a very, very important, beautiful teaching. Na priya priye sprishataha. Priya sprish to contact, to touch. So, na sprishataha, they do not touch. What? That which does not have a body. So, priya and apriya, delight and distaste, and the objects attached to that delight and distaste, they themselves are changing all the time, and they cannot touch the unchanging one. Who is the unchanging one? I, the one who cognizes the objects of delight as such, the one who cognizes the objects of distaste as such. They cannot touch me. They cannot affect me. They cannot in any way do that. Why? Because the priya and apriya, they can get a reaction from the body. The body is in pain. And then the priya and apriya can get a reaction from the mind. I don't like this. Why is this happening to me? This is the extent of priya and apriya's field of influence, sphere of influence. Why? Because it belongs to the empirical reality. And what else belongs to the empirical reality? The body-mind-sense complex belongs to the empirical reality. So, priya and apriya belonging to this same order of the reality can only affect the other objects in the same order of the reality, such as the body, mind, senses. But the one who is the indweller of the body, mind, senses is free from both priya and apriya. And that is very beautiful quotation. And now, finishing up the Bhashya, we also saw the very nice Bhashya also, contrasting between Dehamatra Atma Darshin and then Tattva Darshin. And then and Kevala Atma Darshin, that is the contrast. So then, who is the person who is affected? The person who is affected by priya and apriya is the one who has bought stocks. Where? In the identification with the body-mind-sense complex. I am as good as the body. I am as good as the mind. The one who says, the one who has overdosed on dehatma buddhi, deha eva atma iti buddhi. So the one who has overdosed on dehatma buddhi, that is the one who is affected, Adi Shankara said, when? Yesterday. Only just yesterday? Yes. Yeah. So dehamatra darshinam hi priya prapti harsha vishada sthaniya. And then, na kevala atma darshinascha. It's not for the people who only see themselves as I, Satchidananda. Those who see themselves as good as the body, they are touched by priya and apriya. And why are the kevala atma darshins not touched? Tasya priya priya prapti asambhavat. Why is it there is asambhava? There is asambhava because it is belonging to different orders of reality. How to assimilate this? Because we can take one example here itself. Okay? So there are how many elements? 5 elements. And out of the 5 elements, the 4 of them can destroy one another. What are the 4 that can destroy one another? Wind can destroy fire. If it's a small fire, you go, happy birthday to me, and then what will happen? Gone. right? Fire gone. And the wind can destroy fire. What else can destroy fire? Water can destroy fire. And then fire can destroy water by evaporation. You keep your tea pan on the stove and forget all about it. Then you neither have a pan nor do you have water. You have a big hole. Okay? And then fire can destroy the earth. So many, it's like scorched earth. Fire can destroy all the plants, forest fire. So they can destroy, and then the earth here means, what is that called? Metals, because metals come from earth. So sword and all can destroy so many things. Like this, these four elements can destroy one another. And can anything destroy space? Can any of the four elements touch space? No. Shastraihi api anilagnyambah kimutaihi, something, I forgot the last one. What is that? This Advaita Makaranda. This is an Advaita Makaranda, beautiful example. Kimutaihi kalpitaihi. So this anila, agni, ambaha. So all these together, they can destroy one another. They are in the fray, fighting it out for supremacy. So wind can promote the fire when it wants, wind can destroy the fire when it wants, and then water can also destroy fire. And then what can the fire do? Fire can turn around and destroy the water. Like this. So something can suffer water damage, something can suffer fire damage, something can suffer air damage, that's called dehydration, air damage. But space cannot suffer water damage. Space cannot be damaged by water, air, fire, or even earth. You take a sword and go like this, I am going to cut up space. Are you able to cut up space? No. See, even though all five elements belong to the same order of reality, four of them are apart from what? Apart. They stand apart. From what? From space. So similarly, Atma is what? Space-like consciousness. Nothing can touch it. It's like space. It is all pervasive, ever present, doesn't have form. Nirgunatvat. Because it doesn't have form, it cannot be destroyed. And because it doesn't have form, priya priya, apriya and priya, priya priye, nasprishatah. This is very important to understand. And so, the kimcha sarvabhuteshu ekah samah निर्दोषः आत्मा इति स्थिरा निर्विचिकित्सा बुद्धिः यस्य सः. So what is he expounding? Sthira buddhihi. Who is sthira buddhihi? So sthira buddhihi is sama buddhihi, the one who has sama buddhi. And then so here he expands it very beautifully to show this. Sarva bhuteshu ekah nirdoshaha atma samaha iti. So the buddhi they have is says the following: in all beings there is one unchanging, non-changing, flawless atma iti nirvichikitsa buddhihi yasya saha. The one who has the buddhi, sthira means nirvichikitsa, vichikitsa means doubt. How do we know that? Kathopanishad. What is the mantra? Yeyam ete vichikitsa manushye asti iti eke nasti iti eke. So vichikitsa means doubt. Chikitsa, treatment. Yeah. So we need a chikitsa for this vichikitsa. And what is the treatment here? The treatment is to study Vedanta and assimilate this knowledge as I to the extent that the buddhi does not waver. Unwavering buddhi. Why is it unwavering? Because it is free of all doubt. That's why it is unwavering. And for whom that is the case, that one is called sthira buddhihi. Sthira buddhihi, and then this is part of the verse itself. Asammodhaha, sammoha varjitaha, free of delusion, because doubt, distrust and delusion go together. Free of doubt, free of distrust, therefore free of delusion. So yathoktaha brahmavit, and the aforementioned brahmavit, brahmani sthitaha, is abiding not in the ahankara, not in the body mind sense complex, but where? In Brahman as I. Who is this Brahma? Akarmakrit. And who is this Brahmavid? The one who knows I am not the doer. Sarva karma sannyasi, jnana sannyasi. Why? The one who has renounced everything because of atma jnanam. And then furthermore, what happens to that person is described in the 21st verse. We can chant together. Bhashya sparsheshva sattatma vindatyatmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukhamakshayam ashnute. Sparsheshu, sparshaha, sprishyante iti sparshaha. The word sparshaha means contact. And here it has a technical meaning. Contact means the sense objects, because they contact what? Sense organs. They come into contact with what? Sense organs. So contact, the word sparsha variously means either sense objects or sense organs. So here it means sense objects. In the 6th chapter or even later in this chapter, sparshan bhahyan bahihi kritva. What does that mean? The sense, the sense. There also it means some sense objects. Somewhere else, I am not recalling it now. It means sense organs. Both it means, because the both of them are tied together. The sense organs feel like they have no purpose, no business being alive if there are not things to see, things to eat, things to experience. What is their purpose? No purpose. And the sense objects cannot exist without the sense organs to say, aha, hello samosa, I see you, I smell you, I taste you. Samosa is not self-evident. It is not self-evident. It doesn't say, tada, I exist. It doesn't say that. It cannot say that. So the sense objects blessed by consciousness have to objectify, the sense organs blessed by consciousness have to objectify the sense objects. Because objects are mithya. They are not self-evident. Atma is self-evident, I is self-evident, and so therefore this is the, so sparshaha means both of them together here, but here it means objects, because the objects cannot exist in a vacuum. So sprishyante iti sparshaha. What kind of sparshaha? Bhahyaha chate sparshaha. External objects. So external objects, teshu asaktatma. Asaktatma means the one who is immune to their call. The one who is immune to the call of the sense objects, because one has discovered a contentment centered on the I. Therefore, the vairagya is growing, and the vairagya is growing, and therefore there is not much premium put on all the things that used to give happiness to one before, previously. Bhashya sparsheshu teshu asaktatma. Atma here is not Atma, antahkaranam. So, antahkaranam bhashya sparsheshu shabdadi vishayeshu asprishtaha. So, asprishtaha, the one who is, the one who is not carried away by external objects because of the vairagya. Asprishtaha, antakaranam. So, with reference to the bhashya sparsheshu, with reference to external objects, the one who is very much internally oriented, not carried away, not unsettled. And then vindati atmani yat sukham. Vindati, gains, finds. Atmani yat sukham. Yat sukham atmani vindati. So the one who is not under the sway or under the spell of external objects, what will they find? They find the joy that is centered on oneself as Satchidananda. They find the same joy which all other people, including themselves in the past, used to have to just stand in line to get a little thimble full of joy. That is how everybody is. Everybody is a happiness monger, a happiness hog. And then what do you have? Why do you have to stand in line? Because wherever you go, for that particular object, there will be a billion takers. And even if you are quick, and even if you have grown up in India and you know how to push everybody away and get to the get to the front of the line. Shoo, I am the mumukshu. Shoo, you know how to get to the front of the line. Here you are nobody, nothing, because other people are 10 times smarter to you, and you find yourself pushed to the back of the line carrying your little thimble. Bring your own thimble, okay? Because that's all the joy that you can hold, and then you have to dip it in the little joy. This little thimble of joy, you dip it into this vat of joy and then sip, 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 and then cry into it. Why? Because it's finishing off. Yeah, it's finishing. And then the last few sips of this joy will be salty sips because of your own tears. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is what is talked about in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad between the Janaka and the Yajnavalkya dialogue. Yajnavalkya teacher, Janaka student. King Janaka is taught this. He says that this is the joy. The joy is always centered on Atma, not knowing that all the people in the world ex matram eva upajivanti. Sarvani bhutani etasya anandasya matrameva upajivanti. Matrameva upajivanti means bhukte. They partake. They partake a thimbleful of this joy which is rightfully theirs. Not recognizing that there is a big lake in their yard. They go and fill up some ditch water, little bit of ditch water after standing in the queue and fighting with everybody in the queue. I came first. Not understanding that there is a placid, clear and a wonderful lake right in their backyard. They go begging for this happiness everywhere. And it's not that Brahmananda is different from Vishayananda. There is only one Ananda. Then what's the difference? Same Ananda alone. Because if Brahman is a special experience, if I think Brahman is a special experience, I need to be taken to a specialist. Why? Because this Brahman cannot be a special experience. If it's a special experience, it will come to an end. It will have a beginning. It will become Adyantavantaha. These kinds of, it will become Adiman, Antavan. This joy will also become that which is finite. But it is not finite. So therefore, it is the same Ananda which pervades the whole Jagat. Jagat is Ananda. Body, mind, sense complex is Ananda. And then Atma is also what? Ananda. But then if I make the mistake of taking the finite to be infinite, that is the birth canal of sorrow. That is how sorrow is born. Sorrow is born by making this mistake when repeatedly, life after life after life. So, lesha leshatah upajivanti. They just are happy with crumbs, like the little puppy dog. The puppy dog sits near the dining table and begs, please, little bit. And the parents tell the children, don't give, otherwise it will just be addicted, it will not eat, it will only eat people food, it will not eat dog food. Why should it eat dog food anyway? That doesn't matter. So, don't give. And the children say yes, yes, and slowly just sneak in a little bit to the dog. Or they pretend to drop it. Oops, they say. And the dog has already swept and mopped it up. By the time the mother looks, it's all gone. The dog is licking its lips. It's all gone. And so, let us assume in this story that now the rest of it is made up. Then the dog is next time born as a human being. But the same samskaras remain. Same samskaras. What? I should wait for crumbs. I should not bark, should not howl. Should just beg, sit and beg for crumbs. And then even though, let's say they tell this person, no, you are a human being. You have a seat at the table. Please come and sit. Sit and eat. No, just pass me a little piece of roti, a little bread. That's enough. This is what the jivas are. Vedanta invites you to sit at the table along with Brahman. Why? Because you are that Brahman. Brahmana saha sarvan kaman samashnute. Sit at the table. All that there is Brahman. Food is Brahman. Eater is Brahman. Eaten is Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Enjoy. Enjoy, because your own glory is spread like Brahman even. But what does the jiva say? No. I don't want to. I don't want to be the sugar. This is a very compelling but sad argument. I don't want to be the sugar. What do I want to do? Taste the sugar. Ayyo. Yeah. I don't want to be the sugar, I want to be a constant taster of what? Sugar. What is the result? Diabetes. That's all. Moving on. So Atmani yat sukham vindate. So the first one is sadhana. The sadhana is what? In getting vairagya. In developing, the first line is sadhana. Yat sukham bhashya sparsheshu asaktatma yat sukham Atmani, Svatmani, Vindate, that same Sukha, Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, Api Vindate, Ashnute. Same thing. So, first is the sadhana, and then to inspire the sadhaka, what happens at the end of the sadhana is also given by talking about the Brahmavit. So, Bhakya Sparsheshu Asaktah, the one who is not carried away by external objects and their, and the promises which are never kept by the external objects. And their false promises, Vindati, eventually with this practice finds. What one finds? One finds Atmani Yat Sukham. Here Sukham must be translated as contentment born of Vairagya. This is the sadhana. The sadhana gives its phalam. What is the phalam of the sadhana? Vairagya born contentment. A contentment that is born of Vairagya. Because the less you want, the happier you are. Try it. It's amazing. The less you want, the happier you are. Because you don't need to upkeep all these desires and you don't have to feed them. It's like having a menagerie of animals. They raided somebody's house a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, and they found three people living in it, and one elderly mother, father, and their grown son, and then they had 108 cats. 108 cats in a small, it was not like they had 10 acres of land and they were roaming freely. Small apartment. And the neighbors complained of smell and all kinds of things, and then they raided it, the health inspectors and everything. This was in the United States. And then the cats were in very bad shape, poor things, fighting, scratching one another, not being fed properly, and they were all living in this two-bedroom apartment. And they had to be evicted. The apartment had to be smoked out completely in order to make it habitable again. And so like this, the desires do not crowd this person. The person is free of the desires, the longings, and the pressure to fulfill the longings. And then there is the vairagya born of the vairagya born contentment. And then they are just like, because what will be their destiny? What will be their destination? Saha, that person will become what? Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. So, Brahmani Yoga. Yoga means that awareness of the person is completely in the I. So, the Adi Shankara will say Samadhi. So, Brahmani Yoga, Brahma Yoga. And then by that, Tena Brahma Yogena Yuktaha. Yuktaha means completely absorbed. Samahita San Yasya Antahkaranaha. That one is called Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. The one who is totally and completely only focused on Brahman, only focused on the truth of oneself as Brahman, and whose Antahkarana is free of any other occupation. Sukham akshayam sukham ashnute. Akshayam means the sukha that does not come to an end. Ashnute, eats, enjoys. Enjoys, the one who is one with this happiness. What kind of happiness? The happiness that does not come to an end. So do you see the first part and the second part? So the first one is the one who has developed vairagya, and then what do they get? Atmani sukham. So this happiness is born of vairagya, and then what will it lead to? It will lead to jnanananda, the ananda born of jnanam. So first is what? Vairagyananda, the ananda born of vairagya leads to the ananda born of atma. Atmananda it leads to, and then vairagyananda can come to an end, but atmananda never comes to an end. This is the understanding Bhashya. We have almost seen the Bhashya, but we'll just go through it. Bhashya sparsheshu, Bhashya cha sparshaha chate. So they are, see, the karmadharaya samasa, meaning the Bhashya is adjectival to sparshaha. What kind of sparshaha? What kind of objects? External objects. So the external qualifies sparshaha. So such a compound is called Visheshana Garbhita Karmadharaya. So karmadharaya it is, and then what is that? Bhashya sparshaha. And what is sparshaha? Sprishyante iti sparshaha. That which is contacted is called sparshaha. That which touch you. What are they? Shabdadayaha, Vishayaha. All objects are called what? Sparshaha, because they don't have an existence without the contact, without the specific contact person. What is the contact person? Ears, eyes, etc. They are the points of contact. Teshu, with reference to them, what is them? Bhashya sparsheshu asaktaha atma antahkaranam yasya saha, untouched and uncarried away. The one whose antahkarana, the mind, buddhi, ahankara, etc., that person is called Bhashya sparsheshu asaktatma. And what about that person? So, ayam asaktatma vishayeshu Priti Varjita San. So this person who is untouched by the objects, what happens? Priti Varjitaha means devoid of longing towards the object. Vindati labhate. What do they gain? Atmani yat sukham. So tat vindati iti arthaha. So they gain a certain happiness based on the vairagya. There is a contentment, but Adi Shankara points out the vairagya born contentment is very, very close to what? Atma's ananda. There is no separation. Only thing is, the one is a sadhaka and the other one is a jnani. It's the same one. And how is it the same one? Is going to be told. Saha, second line, then he goes to Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. Brahmani Yogaha. The union is with Brahma. Yoga means union. Brahmani Yogaha. United with Brahman. Samadhihi. Samadhihi means the cessation of all other unions. Awareness. Samadhi here is not exactly samadhi. It means being one, identified only with the awareness. Brahma Yogaha. Tena Brahma Yogena. By this Brahma Yoga, by this union with Brahman alone, Yuktaha. Yuktaha means Samahitaha. Samahitaha means the one who is endowed with this kind of an unshakable union. I am Brahman iti, understanding. With that, tasmin vyapritaha atma antahkaranam yasya saha. Tasmin vyapritaha, whose awareness is engaged only in Brahman. The awareness is not engaged in external objects, etc. The awareness is internal and only Brahman. That is all there. And even if you show them things, see this, do that, what will they see? Brahman alone. They have the capacity now because of the first line practice, the vairagya. They have the capacity to see through the names and forms and see only Brahman in everything. And then such a person is called Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, and who attains this. Attains means it's already there, who recognizes that this happiness which is inexhaustible, imperishable, akshaya. And then tasmat, therefore, Bhashya Vishaya Pritehe Kshanikayaha Indriyani Nivartayet Ityarthaha Atmani Akshaya Sukharthi. So, tasmat, therefore, if you are Akshaya Sukharthi, Akshaya Sukharthi means if you are the person who is Arthi. Arthi means the one who is wanting, desirous of. What? Akshaya Sukha. If you are Akshaya Sukharthi, what kind of Akshaya Sukha? Atmani, that which is found only centered on the Atma. If you are Akshaya Sukharthi, what should you do? Adi Shankara gives a little pro tip. Okay, so Bhashya Vishaya Pritehe, then from, this is all fifth case, Kshanikayaha Bhashya Vishaya Pritehe, from the momentary happiness centered on the outside objects, love for the outside objects, Indriyani Nivartayet, withdraw the sense organs from the sense objects, which just promise, give the false promise of momentary joy. Only when you withdraw that, then when you throw away the thimble, stop standing in queue, then you understand that I have a big lake in my own yard. More we'll see next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah.